Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Journey with VIJAYKUMAR SHRIVASTAV. Today I am going to present the topic sustainable agriculture. Before presentation, little introduction about myself. I am Vijaykumar Shrivastava. I have done M.Sc agriculture with a specialization in agronomy from Pant University of Agriculture and Technology Pantnagar in 1996 and presently working as a seed professional in seed industry and associated with one of the M.Sc. So let's proceed to the presentation. Sustainable agriculture definition. A farming system that are capable of maintaining their productivity and usefulness to society indefinitely and must be resource conserving, socially supportive, commercially competitive and environmentally sound. A sustainable agriculture doesn't deplete soil or people. Sustainable agriculture is a form of agriculture aimed at meeting the needs of the present generation without endangering the resource base of the future generations. In order to feed the growing population, more food has to be produced, and this has to be done without degradation of resource base. Now we will study about concept of sustainability in cropping systems and farming systems, scope and objectives. The word sustain derived from the Latin word sustainere, where sus means from below and tenere means to hold. To keep in existence or maintain implies long-term support or permanence. A system's approach is essential to understanding sustainability. The system is envisioned in its broadest sense from the individual farm to the local ecosystem and to communities affected by this farming system both locally and globally. A system approach gives us the tools to explore the interconnections between farming and other aspects of our environment. As per USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, sustainable agriculture means an integrated system of plant and animal production practices having a site-specific application that will, over the long term, having the objectives satisfying human food and fiber needs, enhance environmental quality and the natural resource based upon which the agriculture economy depends, make the most efficient use of non-renewable resources and on farm resources and integrate where appropriate natural biological cycles and controls to sustain the economic viability of farm operations and enhance the quality of life for farmers and society as a whole. Now to study basic features and concepts of sustainable systems. First one is the need to maintain or improve soil quality and fertility. This is often attained by increasing the organic matter content of the soil and by minimizing losses from soil erosion. Second one is production programs are designed to improve the efficiency of resource utilization. This will result in the most cost-effective use of water, fertilizers and pesticides. Third one, an attempt is made to improve internal nutrient cycle on the farm, which will reduce the dependence on external fertilizers. And fourth, efforts are made to improve biological diversity on the farm. This will result in improved natural suppression of pests and may also help to improve internal nutrient cycling within the farm. And fifth one, farm management and marketing programs are designed to minimize overhead cost and to increase returns, often by following alternative marketing schemes. The concept of sustainable agriculture has come up because yield from modern farming techniques reaching a plateau and the environmental problems due to excessive use of chemicals and pesticides in food chain. Here we will compare different types of agriculture, their objectives, inputs and output status. First one is subsistence agriculture, which is low level equilibrium and its objective to sustain life and family need where the input is low and output is also low. Second one is commercial farming, which is high level equilibrium status and it is having the status to obtain high income and there are high inputs and output will be also high. Third one is sustainable agriculture, where there is the balance of natural and ecological equilibrium and it is having the objective of ecological balance where the inputs will be low and outputs will be high. What are the goals of sustainable agriculture? It should be ecological sound, it should be economically viable, it should be socially justifiable, like it is beneficial for society. Then it should be human, means there should be respect to life of animals or plants, and then it should be adaptable, These goals for sustainability can be applied to all aspects of any agriculture system, from production and marketing to processing and consumption. Rather than dictating what methods can and cannot be used, they established basic standards by which widely divergent agriculture practices and conditions can be evaluated and modified, and if necessary, to create sustainable systems. The result is an agriculture designed to last and be passed on the future generation. Sustainable agriculture presents objective to first maintain or enhance biological and economic productivity of crops. Second, enhance the efficiency of use of inputs. Third, lesser adverse environmental impacts both on and off the farm. Fourth, minimize adverse environmental impacts on adjacent and downstream environments. And fifth, minimize the magnitude and rate of soil degradation and to enhance soil quality and resilience so that the crop productivity can be sustained with minimum adverse impact on soils and environment. Sixth, enhance compatibility with social and political conditions. Seventh, positive response to the limits and problems of both traditional and modern agriculture. Eighth, it is neither a return to the past nor an idolatry of the new. Rather, it seeks to take the best aspects of both traditional wisdom and the latest scientific advances. And ninth, this results in integrated nature-based ecosystems designed to be self-reliant, resource conserving and productive in both the short and long terms. Advantages of sustainable agriculture. First one is production cost is low. Second, overall risk of the farmer is reduced. Third, pollution of water is avoided. Fourth, very little or no pesticide residue is ensured. And fifth, ensures both short and long term profitability. And what are the disadvantages? Since sustainable agriculture uses least quantum of inputs, naturally the output yield may also be less. Now we will study about major components of sustainable agriculture system. First one is soil and water conservation to prevent degradation of soil productivity. Second, efficient use of limited irrigation water without leading to problems of soil salinity, alkalinity and high groundwater table. Third, crop rotations that mitigate weed, disease and insect problems, increase soil productivity and minimize soil erosion. Fourth, integrated nutrient management that reduces the need for chemical fertilizers, improves the soil health and minimize environmental pollution by conjunctive usage of organics, inorganics and biofertilizers. Fifth, integrated pest management that reduces the need for agrochemicals by crop rotations, weather monitoring, use of resistant cultivar, planting time and biological pest control. And sixth, management system to control weed by preventing measures, tillage, timely intercultivation and crop rotation to improve plant health. Environmental sustainability implies the below points: meeting the basic needs of all people and giving this priority over meeting the greeds of a few, keeping population densities if possible below the carrying capacity of the region, adjusting consumption patterns and the designs and management of systems to permit the renewal of renewable resources, conserving, recycling and establishing priorities for the use of non-renewable resources, and keeping environmental impact below the level required to allow the systems affected to recover and continue to evolve. An environmentally sustainable agriculture is one that is compatible with and supportive of all above criteria. Now we will study about management practices for sustainable agriculture. The management practices for sustainable agriculture differ from those of modern agriculture. The important steps in sustainable agriculture are: first one is watershed management, second conservation of genetic resources, third conservation tillage, fourth integrated nutrient management, fifth is efficient water management, sixth integrated weed management, seventh integrated pest management and eighth crop rotation. The management practices are mainly aimed at obtaining sustainable production with limited or no chemical inputs, with preference to farm grown inputs without pollution and minimum damage to natural resources base. Watershed management. The important developmental activities in watershed management for dry lands are soil and moisture conservation measures, land use based on land capability, wasteland management, afforestation, and efficient crop production practices. Conservation of genetic resources. Land races need preservation for future use. The use of improved high-yielding varieties over large areas result in loss of land races. Livestock is to be conserved by bringing about diversity in the farm. Growing a greater variety of crops on a farm can help reduce risks from extreme in weather, market condition, or crop pests. Increased diversity, crops and other plants such as tree and shrubs also can contribute to soil conservation, wildlife habitat, and increased population of beneficial insects. In case of conservation genetic resources, there are two types of conservation: in situ conservation and second is ex situ conservation. In case of in situ conservation, there is nature reserves, managed areas, biosphere reserves, on farm conservation and home gardens. While in case of ex situ conservation, we should focus on seed bank, field gene bank, in vitro slow growth, cryobank and cryopreservation, pollen storage, DNA storage, and botanical gardens. Conservation tillage. Conservation tillage is defined as any cropping system which results in conservation of natural or other resources, and sustainable agriculture is use of agriculture practices which conserve water and soil and are environmentally non-degrading, technically appropriate, economically viable, and socially acceptable. Tillage practices used in sustainable agriculture aim at reducing soil degradation, improving weed control, and helping in timely decomposition of organic matter. A common aim is to provide optimal conditions for beneficial soil organisms, thereby enhancing organic matter decomposition and nutrient recycling. Managing the top 8 cm of soil is vital because most of the biological activity, microorganisms, and organic matter are in this layer. Integrated nutrient management. Nutrients needed for the crop are made from organic sources. For example, when rice is grown by self-reliant organic farming system, green manure crops like sun hemp, dhencha, and Pilispera are grown as a mixture of 1:1:1 ratio, and 25 kg of each are sown in a hectare. The green manure crop is incorporated after 40 days and 2 weeks are allowed for decomposition before planting rice. Instead of top dressing of chemical fertilizers like urea, ammonium sulfate, calcium ammonium nitrate, etc., biogas slurry and fresh cattle urine diluted with irrigation water are pumped to the fields. 3 such irrigations are given at a monthly intervals. If the crop is weak, one more irrigation is given with slurry combination. Farm grown inputs like azolla, blue-green algae, azotobacter, rhizobium, and other biofertilizers are used judiciously. Crop rotations with legumes are adopted for building soil fertility. Sustainable agriculture mainly depends on soil organic matter for nutrient supply through farmyard manure, compost, and green manures. In the initial stage of conservation, supplemental fertilizer application is necessary until equilibrium of nutrient cycle is established. Efficient water management. Water management can be subdivided into rainwater management and irrigation water management. The important aspects of rainwater management are water harvesting, supplemental irrigation, and reduction of evapotranspiration. Irrigation water management involves scheduling irrigation at appropriate time with adequate quantity of water without causing waterlogging, salinity, and alkalinity. We have to follow the best water management practices for improving the efficiency. Like in case of irrigation, if we will see the drip irrigation having the most efficiency from 85 to 92%. After that, sprinkler irrigation having efficiency of 60 to 90%. Then bubbler irrigation with efficiency of 55 to 80%. Furrow irrigation is having efficiency 50 to 75%, and least by flood irrigation where the efficiency is only 40 to 70%. So the prioritization should be to most efficient irrigation methods. Integrated weed management. Weed control methods include cultural, physical, biological, and chemical methods. In sustainable agriculture, cultural, physical, and biological methods are given greater importance. Weeds are generally controlled by rotation, tillage and hand weeding. Weed population to an extent can be tolerated at certain periods of crop growth as they help in nutrient recycling, pest control, soil conservation and organic matter improvement. Integrated pest management. Occurrence of insects and diseases are less in organic farming, probably due to greater plant and insect diversity within the redesigned agroecosystem. The incidence of livestock disease is much lower than in conventional farming. The probable reasons includes higher feed quality. In natural biological communities, certain equilibrium between plants and animal organisms is involved. Natural regulation in the form of an increase in diseases and enemies and also shortage of food cause decline in population. In the absence of plant protection measures, it is estimated that on an average 20 to 30% of yield losses occurs due to pest occurrence. Maximal yield requires the highest degree of protection and is correspondingly more expensive. Excessive use of chemicals not only results in waste of money and energy but also builds up resistance and resurgence in insects and pathogens. Pathogens developing resistance to the chemicals is increasingly observed with the introduction of systemic chemicals. Integrated pest control focus on cultural methods, biological methods and use of resistant varieties which reduce dependence on ecologically aggressive chemical pesticides. Plant-derived compounds such as neem and microbial control agents such as bacteria and fungi can be used instead of harmful chemicals. Helpful insects and spiders are encouraged. If it becomes necessary to control insects by insecticides, threshold level of insect population have to be considered before making a decision to spray. It is now considered that chemical pesticides which have selective action and are compatible with biological controls agents are important for sustainable agriculture. Crop rotation. The selection of optimal crop rotation is important for successful sustainable agriculture. Crop rotation is very important for soil fertility management, weed, insect and disease control. Legumes are essential in any rotation and should comprise 30 to 50% of the cropland. A mixed cropping, pastures and livestock system is desirable or even essential for the success of sustainable agriculture. Now we will study about indices of sustainability. Quantification of sustainability is essential to assess the impact of management systems on actual and potential productivity and on environment. Some indices of sustainability includes the following. First one is productivity, which refers the production per unit of resource used can be assessed by PI is equal to P divided by R, where PI is productivity, P is total production and R is resource used. Second is total factor productivity, TFP. It is defined as productivity per unit cost of all factors involved. Third is coefficient of sustainability. It is a measure of change in soil properties in relation to production under a specific management systems. Fourth is index of sustainability. It is measure of sustainability relating productivity to change in soil and environmental characteristics. Fifth is agriculture sustainability. It is a broad-based index based on several parameters associated with agricultural production. Then sixth is sustainable coefficient. It is a complex and a multi-purpose index on a range of parameters and is similar to agriculture sustainability. Here to study crop productivity as an indicator of sustainability. A measure of crop productivity is a good integrator of all soil, water, climatic and biotic factors. It is important to assess potential versus actual productivity. It is science-based management system. Actual production exceeds potential production in soils of low inherent fertility and in harsh environment. The potential productivity soils productive potentials within a biome can be estimated by several models like CERES and tropical soil fertility calculator. If land availability is a limiting factor, appropriate indices of productivity are land use factor, land use ratio and area time equivalent ratio. The land use factor L is defined as the ratio of cropping period C plus fallow period F to cropping period C. Means formula L is equal to C plus F divided by C. The factor L is generally high for low intensity system like shifting cultivation. So this was all about sustainable agriculture. Now my presentation ends here. Thank you very much. See you again shortly. Here I have given my YouTube channel details. Having request, please visit the channel, subscribe it, and provide your kind and valuable feedback for further improvements. Thanks.